In life, there are two companions that follow us everywhere: risk and regret. One stands before the choice, and the other waits after it. Risk whispers, "What if you fail?" Regret whispers, "What if you never tried?" When I was younger, I believed that avoiding risk was the path to peace. But in time, I discovered that the heaviest burden is not the failure that comes from risk. It is the regret of what was never attempted. I remember a young monk who came to the monastery filled with energy and curiosity. He often asked, "What if I'm not good enough to meditate deeply? What if I fail in understanding wisdom? What if I disappoint everyone?" He feared the risks of failure. One day, our teacher took him to the riverbank. He handed him a clay pot and said, "Fill it with water and carry it back." The young monk hesitated. He worried the pot might break. He feared slipping on the rocks. But he finally stepped in, trembling. The pot did slip, cracked, water spilled. He returned ashamed. But the teacher only smiled and said, "Now you know, you faced the risk. The pot is broken, but your heart is stronger. Had you not tried, you would have carried the weight of wondering your entire life." And the monk understood. Risk broke a pot, but regret could have broken his spirit. The nature of risk. Risk is simply uncertainty. It is stepping into a place where the outcome is unknown. But remember, uncertainty is where growth lives. Think of a seed. When it is planted, it risks being eaten, trampled, or withering in drought. But without that risk, it never becomes a tree. Every act of growth in nature involves risk. Even breathing is a risk, for life itself is fragile. Yet we breathe. The question is not whether we can avoid risk. It is whether we can face it mindfully, with courage and clarity. The weight of regret. Now let us speak of regret. Regret is not born from failing. Regret is born from inaction. It is the voice that says, "If only I had tried, maybe I could have." In the monastery, many old visitors come to speak with us. Their eyes tell stories even before their lips do. Some regret the risks they never took, confessing love, following a dream, spending time with family, or living with authenticity. Very few regret their failures. Most regret their silence, their hesitation, their untried paths. A scar from risk fades, but the wound of regret lingers. A story of two bridges. There is a parable of two bridges. One bridge is narrow, swaying, and risky to cross. The other is safe, wide, and easy. The traveler who chooses the safe bridge reaches the other side quickly, but finds nothing new, only the same land as before. The traveler who dares the narrow bridge trembles, nearly falls, but when he reaches the other side, he discovers a whole new world. In our lives, both bridges appear. If we always choose safety, we may never see the new world that risk can reveal. Balancing risk with wisdom. But listen carefully. I am not telling you to jump blindly. A monk does not walk into fire thinking it will not burn. Wisdom is the balance. Risk without mindfulness is recklessness. Regret without reflection is sorrow. When we plan, when we prepare, when we are mindful, risk becomes a teacher, not a tormentor. It becomes the path that strengthens us, whether we succeed or stumble. Practical guidance. So how do we live between risk and regret? Pause before choosing. Breathe. Ask yourself, if I never try this, will I regret it years from now? Take small steps. Risk does not always mean a giant leap. Sometimes it is just one mindful step forward. Embrace failure as a teacher. A broken pot, a lost attempt, a rejected idea. These are not the end, but the lessons that prepare you for the next step. Remember impermanence. All things pass, your fear, your failure, even your success. Do not cling, just walk. Personal anecdote. When I first considered joining the monastery, I was terrified. I thought of the risk of leaving everything behind. Family, comfort, the life I knew. But then I imagined myself at the end of life, wondering, what if I had tried? That thought weighed heavier than any risk. So I chose the uncertain path. And though it was hard, it brought me peace, clarity, and purpose. Without risk, I would not be speaking to you now. My dear friends, risk is the price of growth. Regret is the cost of avoidance. One hurts for a while, the other for a lifetime. When faced with a choice, do not ask only, "What if I fail?" Ask also, "What if I regret not trying?" For the heart can heal from risk, but regret lingers like a shadow. So walk the narrow bridge. Carry the pot, even if it breaks. Plant the seed, even if storms may come. Risk teaches you. Regret only weighs you down. Take a moment now. Think of one thing you have been postponing out of fear of risk. Ask yourself, will I regret not trying this when years have passed? If the answer is yes, take a small step today. If this teaching has touched your heart, I invite you to share it with someone who is standing at a crossroads in their life. Like this video, subscribe, and let us continue walking this path together. Step by mindful step, free from regret, courageous in risk, and rooted in wisdom. The monk bows gently, hands together, as soft music fades.